Hey, this is Tyler with Dieselgeek, and today's video covers the installation and high point features of the billet aluminum side-to-side reduction bracket for the MQ250 transmissions. That's going to be your 2006 and newer 5-speed manual. Um, Start with our billet aluminum bracket here. First thing we need to do is install our cable end pin. We'll do that on the side that has the relief milled. Just thread that in. Snug it with a wrench. Next we'll do the slider pin. Just goes in the other leg there. Moving on to the pivot pin. That's going to pass through this hole here. It's secured on the back side with a nut. The nut's a self-locking type, so it's not gonna thread on all the way by hand. It'll thread on a turn or two, and then you just have to finish it off with a wrench. All right, now that that's assembled, we can go out to the engine compartment and remove the stock linkage. Our kit shores up some kind of poorly designed parts in the engine compartment, namely this bracket here has a pivot tube that's pretty sloppy and allows for corrosion to develop inside this tube here. You have a spongy bushing here that limits your side-to-side gate selection, and then I'll show you the factory slider that's real wimpy and wears rapidly and wasn't ever all that precise from the factory. But first step we need to do is remove this clip here. Basically it just has two prongs that you just spread and then lift out. Next we'll insert a pry tool back here and pry the cable end off of the post while sliding this guy out. There's a little nub right here that has to be overcome while you're trying to remove that cable end. So that's hence the pry tool. Next we'll go ahead and open up this cable end. That's done by bringing the collar towards the square end and then rotating it, and that'll allow those fingers to spread open, and then it'll just slide off. We're going to go ahead and open up this front to back cable end as well, just so that you can touch up the adjustment on that during the final assembly. So again, we just slide it and then rotate, and it'll lock open. So, oh right, here's that wimpy little slider in comparison to our super slider that has a lot more surface area and tighter tolerances. So you'll have to remove the spongy rubber bushing from your stock cable end. We have a separate video for that, and we've got a link on the product description page. But once you remove the bushing, you can install our perfect pivot inserts. They just slide in there. You can put that cable end back on. Then we'll take our high performance pivot bushings and we'll insert them into this tube. Now again, as I mentioned before, if you live in a corrosive environment, New England or near the ocean, you may need to get in here with a shotgun brush and clean that tube out. We have a separate video that goes into that procedure in more detail. Next, we will install our super slider onto our slider pin, and then slide all this in there together. And then there's a shiny metal clip that go on both the cable end pin and the slider pin. All right, so now we're going to go inside the cabin and we're going to insert our 5mm alignment pin through the top loop here. Sorry, that's noisy. So we've got our 5mm alignment pin that goes to the top loop, and then we'll just rotate this shifter around until it lines up with the pin that's in that bearing sleeve there. On the newer cars, 2015 or so and up, this housing will be made out of plastic, but the procedure's the same. So now we'll go back out into the engine compartment and we'll pin our selector shaft into the home position. The locking pin is here, and we'll just push gently down about 1/4 of an inch with the selector shaft while simultaneously pressing inward and wiggling this guy. And when we find the right depth, then the pin will slide in and it'll rotate up like that. And then you'll know that it's locked because the selector shaft won't really move up and down or want to rotate much. That pin is plastic and it's kind of fragile, so be nice to it. Anyway, next thing we do is we just press gently down on the selector shaft, give the side-to-side cable a little bit of a wiggle, and rotate that collar and it'll snap back. And then we'll do the same thing with the front to back. Then we'll go back into the cabin and remove our pin there. And we'll just make sure that we've got all our gears. So, oh, right, we do need to unlock our selector shaft here. Sorry about that. So press down gently, give that a rotate, and that'll sling out. Now we can check our gears. That's it. Thanks.